What is a restaurant menu matrix and what's the dilemma? Stick around and I'll share that with you and how you can overcome this problem that I see on just about every menu out there. Hey everybody, Ryan Gromfin here, author, speaker, chef, restaurateur, and the founder of therestaurantboss.com as well as clickbacon.com. And this week's video is a really important one, so be sure to watch this. This is maybe one of the most important videos that I ever have and maybe ever will put out. It's about your menu, and that's why it's so important, because your menu is your restaurant. It's your number one tool. It defines who you are. Well, technically you should define who you are and then the menu should represent that. But the point is your menu is maybe the most important tool that you have in your restaurant. And yet, a lot of times very little thought goes into our menu. Not necessarily about what particular items go on a menu, but just the menu in general. Most of our menus are too big. Now, I know what you're going to say here. Well, I know our menu's big, but we just reuse different ingredients in different areas, so nothing goes to waste. Valid point, but you're totally wrong, because big menus, while it may feel simple to you and it may not feel wasteful to you, they create confusion for your customers. This is called the paradox of choice. There's a great book that talks about the paradox of choice called The Paradox of Choice, and I'll save you from having to read that whole book. Basically, the paradox of choice states that when we have too many choices, we get stuck making a decision. And then when we finally do make a decision, we're not as satisfied with that decision as we would have been in a case when we had less choices. Now, this has been proven over and over again. There's great experiments that have been done in restaurants to prove this by handing half of a restaurant one menu and half of a restaurant a smaller menu and then scoring it at the end of the day. And always, every time, the people who had smaller menus ordered faster and gave better ratings on their food than the ones that had the larger menu. So what is this menu matrix? So before I get into exactly what the menu matrix is, I want to tell you a story about how I kind of first discovered this myself. 4 or 5 years ago, I was looking to buy a TV for my office, and it needed to do a couple of things specifically. The rest I didn't really care about. So the first place I went was to one of those big box retailer stores, Best Buy. And I must have looked at 10 different TVs, and I must have spent 2 or 3 hours with the sales guy, comparing this, comparing that. Does it do this? Does it do that? The reality is that all of the TVs did the 1 or 2 things that I needed it to do, but I didn't make a decision. I was totally overwhelmed. I'm not lying. I literally was totally overwhelmed. And then I went to Costco and I walked in. Costco had 2 TVs in the size that I wanted. Both of them did what I needed them to do. One was about $500 and one was about $2,500. It took me about 3 seconds to decide that I wanted the $500 TV. I had it in my cart and I was out of the store in no more than 10 minutes. And I spent 2.5 hours at Best Buy and didn't make a purchase. That right there is the paradox of choice. Look who's doing a little better these days. Costco is doing great. Best Buys are really, really struggling. Too many choices. So let's talk about this menu matrix really quick. Well, it's quite simple. You have 2 choices when you're developing a menu. You can either go deep, right, vertical, or you can go wide, horizontal. But you can't do both, because what happens when you go deep and wide? You end up with a huge menu. Again, you can go deep in your menu, which means that you have one product category, let's say hamburgers, and then you can have 10, 12, 15 different varieties of that hamburger. Now, if you want to throw a hot dog and a chicken sandwich on there, all the more power to you. That's great. Or you can go wide. You can have pizza and sandwiches and hot dogs and hamburgers and salads and wraps and all kinds of other things, pastas and entrees and all that. But if you're going to go wide, you can't go deep. You can't have 8 pastas and 8 salads and 6 pizzas and 9 hamburgers. It's too many choices. In this world today, the businesses that thrive specialize in something. I understand that 20, 50, 100 years ago, businesses needed to be broader, right? Think about department stores. Department stores were great because it was harder for people to travel. You couldn't get around as easily. So you went into a department store, and within that department store, you can buy pretty much anything you needed. You could go to a mall and get just about anything you needed. Well, department stores are dead and the mall business is dead, because now if someone wants something, they know exactly what they want and they're willing to find it online or to go to a store that specializes in just that one particular thing. We don't want to go to department stores anymore. And the same thing is true in food. Look in your community, look at the trends, look at the restaurants that are popping up. Of course, there's going to be those examples of the old school restaurants that have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But for the most part, the restaurants that are successful today specialize in one thing and they go very deep on it, or they go wide on it. But very, very few restaurants have the capacity, the manpower, and the resources to be very good at a deep and a wide menu. So when you look at your menu right now, ask yourself, are you deep or are you wide? If you're both, go rework that menu. I hope you enjoyed this week's training. I hope it wasn't a little too controversial for you. Go ahead. I know this is going to heat people up. So go ahead and put those comments in the section below. And I look forward to reading all of them and replying back to you. Have a wonderful week. I want to thank you for watching that video. If you can do me 3 really quick favors right now, very quick. The first is, if you haven't already, will you subscribe to this channel? In a moment, some things are going to pop up on your screen, some buttons, and one of those buttons is going to be subscribe. So whether you're watching this on my channel or on YouTube or on your phone, just stick around for 1 second and you're going to see a big subscribe button. If you haven't already, could you please subscribe? 2, if you haven't liked this video, will you go ahead and click the like button? Actually, don't just click it. Will you smash that like button and tell the world that you really enjoy this? Because the way that I can continue to bring you all this great free training is for my message to expand, for more restaurant owners and future restaurant owners around the world to be watching this. And so the way to do that is to like my video. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, there'll be a place for you to like it. Or if you're back on my website, there'll be a place for you to like that. So smash that like button for me. And then also, could you leave a comment? Ask me a question. I reply to all my comments as fast as I can, usually within about 24 hours. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But go ahead and ask me a question, leave me a comment, tell me you love the video, tell me you'd like to see something else in a video. If you need more detail on a certain area, I can film other videos about that. But if you can go ahead in a couple seconds now, it's going to come out. If you can subscribe, like, and comment, that would be great. Also, there'll be a spot in this little button coming out in a few seconds where you can download something for free. I'm always rotating that, so take a look at that, some free tools. But if you're new to my channel, if you've never seen my videos before, there'll also be a spot for you to watch a video that'll kind of introduce you to what I do here at The Restaurant Boss and at clickbacon.com and tell you about what we do and how you can get more involved and how you can get more free stuff and all that. So the buttons should be coming in by now. Go ahead and click on those and have an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you so much.